Welcome to the earthvox podcast. The earthvox podcast. earthvox podcast.
Well, good morning. Happy Easter. Yes, running just a few minutes behind because I was doing Easter things. I actually meant to bring that up later in the stream, but instead I'm bringing it up right now. I guess my stream is lagging. That's cool. I'm checking it out on Rumble, but it's also on YouTube and X and Twitch. Also, I think theoretically, it's hard to keep track of everything on my own. So I implore you, share the show, subscribe to the show, leave me a nice comment or a rate and review if you're listening to the podcast version on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and anywhere else you may enjoy your online podcast audio content. If you haven't figured out by now, this is not the last episode. This was my super clever and creative effort to play an April Fool's joke. Like so many other massive multinational corporations, I thought it was going to be cool. We'll do, I mean, first of all, let me acknowledge, it's April 5th. It's Sunday morning. It's not April Fool's Day. But neither was last Sunday, so I got to slip it in there somehow. And I thought, I mean, it's so cringe saying yes. Hello, 500 or however many, maybe 1,000 listeners. This is the last episode. I deeply regret to tell everyone I'm hanging it up because I just don't, I don't believe, okay. But I don't believe in doing this anymore. I can't take it anymore. It's not the instant success that I thought it was going to be, so we're throwing it all away because I'm not rich and famous yet, right? And I thought, as I was like concocting this idea, is this really cringe? Should I just do a regular show, not acknowledge the holiday or not pretend, whatever? But then I thought, oh, well, there were a few. I always enjoy on April Fool's Day over the years the silliness that comes out from, and like when the big companies started doing it, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. You know, this person died, mom, I'm pregnant, all the greats. April Fool's pranks that have happened. So maybe we talk about the most popular iconic April Fool's jokes from years past. But first, I don't know. Let me know what you think about these. The top 5 April Fool's pranks from 2026, according to Grok. IKEA announced a, quote, world first collab, turning their iconic Swedish meatballs into lollipops on a stick, complete with a tangy lingonberry twist. Boring. Baskin-Robbins ice cream soup. The ice cream chain launched a canned, pre-churned soup version of ice cream that you could slurp without scooping or melting. Cited as one of the funniest food pranks. But you know what? I mean, it's not even like it's an actual ripoff. I don't know if you get the reference. But it comes from, let's see, it was Between Two Ferns. Steve Carell's appearance on Between Two Ferns, which was Between Two Ferns is like a late night parody show, if you could even call it that. Zach Galifianakis, of course, being the comedy movie star that he is, brings in all of his comedy movie buddies and then pretends to conduct these like irreverent interviews where it's all based in comedy and really clever writing, and it's pretty funny. And you know what? It might be a little bit too early in the show to roll this out. It's 3 minutes long. Let me see. Is it right here? He makes a reference to ice cream soup. Maybe. Oh, you know what? You know what I can do? I'm sorry for making you suffer through this, but maybe there's a shorter version. There's also profanity. This is what's giving me pause. You know, if you introduce profanity or inappropriate stuff in your first 10 minutes, I think it's your first 10 minutes, then you get whatever, blacklisted or algorithmically buried, you know, all of the things that smaller streamers such as myself suffer through. And then, you know, cue the rants. Here we go. Here we go. Let me pause. Let me pause. We're ready. We're ready. Sorry for stalling. It's going to be a fun show. Of course, there's plenty of news to talk about that we're probably not going to talk about because it's we've reverted to the same old,
Like when
same
you
old.
go to the beach and
Unfortunately. Oh
I'm not
no!
gonna say
I
your
just
character.
I
You right
just
into that and smack
ruined
me
it.
across
It's
the
a
face.
great movie.
Oh,
Money and all that stuff. No one saw it.
Come on.
And the budget was.
Get me to
things
it.
I'd like to say to you.
Here we go.
G-force, more like G, he's fat. The only French word you know is buffet.
That's not true. I know the word croissant.
I heard your last name used to be even longer, but you ate all the other letters of the alphabet. Zach, you look like a homeless guy who's been to a soup kitchen that specializes in ice cream soup.
I'm not gonna.
All right, that was misguided. I thought it was going to be a good idea, and it turned out to be a really lackluster payoff. we're learning. All right, we're learning. Ice cream soup. I mean, that was a very iconic interview. Obviously, it's in YouTube Shorts. It's old too. I closed the window. I can't see how old it is now, but someone took no. I mean, I guarantee. You go into the marketing department of Baskin and Robbins, you're gonna find somebody that said, "Oh, ice cream soup, ice cream soup." It'd be a great April Fool's Day prank. Then we have Dyson unveiled fictional beauty tools and grooming gadgets for pets. Yawn. Fortnite temporary game updates. 24-hour game changes, including enormous player heads, shoulder riding, finger guns, splat sounds, and rideable llamas. I mean, this was number 4. Really, this was on the best, the most. What did I say? The most popular. Realize I don't know if you watching the video cares to view the list along with me. But then rounding out the top 5, we have Whisker Cat Hair luxury cat hair sweaters. The Litter Robot Company launched a fashion line of high-end sweaters adorned with real cat hair, sourced from adoptable rescue cats. Also not an original idea. I remember back when I used to listen to radio religiously, there was a morning radio program in the Portland area. It was Daria, I think it was Daria and Ted. Daria and Mitch. Yeah, that's what it was. Nope. Daria and Mitch. Daria, Mitch, and Ted. That's why I thought it was Daria and Ted. And one of, I think it was Mitch, had a couple dogs that shed a lot, and he saved their hair in big garbage bags. I don't know if any of this is true. He saved the hair that he combed off of his dogs, and the thought was that he and his partner, yeah, you're not surprised to learn about that one, are you? He and his partner were at some point going to knit the hair into yarn and use that to create a sweater. But these are the most popular. This is the point. Finally, we're getting there. Yes, my apologies. Don't judge me for drinking an energy drink again. It was a gift. Part of the Easter festivities. I don't want to turn this into bragging about my wife, but my wife really is the best wife. And mother to my children, by the way. Fight me. I'd be happy to hear your arguments as to why your wife is better than mine. Incorrect. So after reading these really lame, disappointing claims, I thought, okay, what were maybe some better ones that happened this year? And this is where the good ones come in. I mean, props to Grok for generating this list for me. I feel a little bit guilty sometimes about going to Grok for all the answers. But how long has it been since you tried to find some decent information simply just using a search engine? It's pathetically bad. What did I just try to find? Oh, that's right. So I don't remember. My wife and I were talking about something having to do with Netflix, because something popped up in my feed about Netflix making cuts, or I think it was layoffs. And I thought, Netflix is one of the richest companies in the world. How much money did Netflix make last year? Then this was what I typed into the search parameters for Google. And I couldn't get a straight friggin' answer until I went to Grok. Boom, immediate answer, 45.18 billion. If you cared to know. So it's really just, I mean, turning to AI, and maybe this is how it's supposed to go. Turning to AI for quick, reasonably accurate information has kind of become the norm. But I was much more pleased with the Grok results on the more creative. What did I say? I said, what were some more creative ones that may have been considered less popular? Because those first 5 that maybe drew the most views, the most clicks, the most bot engagement, right? Like that's what I really start to think when I see how freaking absolutely lame those first 5 were. There's got to be better ones. I mean, I know I heard better ones over the last few days that actually weren't even like how can those be popular? I mean, did you hear of any of those first 5? Ice cream soup? I certainly didn't. The creative standouts, according to Grok, were number 1, the Satichi or Satechi, find all socks, trackable missing socks. Not something that I'm particularly interested in, because I buy, I mean, generally all the same color of sock, all the same size. so that when I find one that has a hole in it, I can just pitch it right in the bin. Mix and match. No one is the wiser. MSI MEG cat holder comes in at number 2. A monitor-mounted cat perch. MSI revealed a sleek RGB cat bed that attaches directly to your gaming monitor, giving your feline overlord their own dedicated spot. Sort of leaning on the, cat walking across your keyboard meme. Penn State football Photoshop prank. Apparently only for the players. The team subtly edited players' faces and bodies in promo photos, making them look slightly off. Then DM'd the actual athletes asking if they could use the altered images for social media. A meta low-key troll on the players themselves. Not bad, not bad. T-Mobile Metro by T-Mobile Cologne. Call Own. A luxury fragrance that supposedly smelled like a fresh out of the box smartphone. Hey, I can appreciate that. Any of you get weird about the smell of new things? Like books in particular. Maybe I'm dating myself. And hey, the cat hair sweater made the list on that one. Traeger's Meat AI grilling glasses. AI-powered smart glasses that supposedly analyze your grill in real time for perfect results. Poking fun at the over AI-ification of everything while tying into their actual grilling brand. I wonder, are you really worried about AI? Or do you think it's just a phase? Do you think it's really going to take over? I know more and more people get concerned as time goes by and more information rolls out. I don't know. Elad Eliyahu is the White House correspondent for Timcast News, of which I'm a big fan. And he makes these claims. Maybe they just satisfy my cognitive bias, but it's definitely a corporate tactic that exists just to pad the stock price. You tell your shareholders, oh, this really great thing is coming. We did this wonderful thing. The stock price bumps up a few points, and then, oh, yeah, it didn't really work out. I'm sorry, whatever. We made a mistake. It wasn't as big. Whatever they need to say to protect themselves from the SEC. And then move on to the next thing. All right. Yes, we know. They use the mainstream media to push out the next thing and cover up the last thing so that they don't suffer any kind of judicial consequences. Heaven forbid we pay for the consequences of our actions. Which, by the way, speaking of the consequences of our actions, we adopted a stray cat. And I've probably brought this up before, but the people across the street had 3 cats. And they moved away, and they didn't bring their cats. Which got me thinking, well, maybe they weren't actually their cats after all, because a strange thing happened. After they moved away, one of their kids came back and left a can of cat food at the vacant house right next to mine. And I think the people that lived in this house adopted these neighborhood cats, let their kids get attached, then moved away and didn't bring the cats because, of course, they aren't their cats. But the kid felt guilty that there was not going to be anyone to take care of these cats. And came by and brought a can of food and maybe thought he was going to get one or all of the cats. Who knows? But one cat in particular came around the house, was really nice to my kids, and they've asked me in the past for a cat. Can we get a kitten? We want to have a kitty. To which, of course, I said, no way. We're not a cat family. We're not cat people. Don't feed it, I told my wife. And how do you think that went? So now we have a cat. We adopted a cat. We started feeding it. We made a little bed for it. And my wife, being the loving, caring person that she is, thought, I need to, it's cold outside. That the poor kitty is freezing, despite the nice little shelter we made for it. We need to get a heater, which we did. First, it was a heating pad, like a little mini blanket that's, 18 inches by 18 inches. You plug it in, you turn it on, it warms up. It's supposed to be for like sore muscles. My life experience with heating pads is when you have like a stomach ache, stomach cramps, something like that. You put the heating pad on. It supposedly makes it feel better. I have vague memories from my youth of using a heating pad to get over stomach cramps. We put that in the little cat shelter and laid a blanket over the top of it, turned it on. It turned itself off, which was great, create just a little warm environment for the poor homeless kitty. Then we started talking about bringing it in the house. We should let it come inside. But I already knew that the cat was coming inside at night through the dog door and then slinking out sneakily whenever it heard anybody until it realized, oh, these people are nice. These people are cool. So now we have a cat that lives in our house at, at night after the dogs go to bed, because the dogs are not having it. They're not cool with the new kitty. So it has to hide. But it has free reign of the house after everyone goes to bed. And it's fine. I like it. It's nice. But I just think to myself, we adopted a stray cat. Does that make us nice? Does that make us good people? Or does that make us stupid? So far, everything's going great. But a lot of times we as people, as nice, caring people, we do these benevolent things without kind of realizing that we're potentially doing more harm than good. We're opening ourselves up to bad things happening. I mean, have you ever heard the story of, the baby, the newborn baby found suffocated in the crib because the cat came into the bedroom, laid on the baby's face, didn't know any better. And this is, of course, my children aren't newborns. There's not anything to worry about in that realm. But if something bad, measurably bad, happens as a result of adopting this stray cat and letting it live in our house, whose fault is that? Is it the cat's fault? Or is it the fault of the stupid people that invited the cat into the house? I mean, we don't know about shots. We don't know about reproductive capability. So far, everything's great. And I'm grateful for that. But I think it presents an interesting issue with the character of people, human beings. I know not everyone's like this, but I feel like our benevolence and our generosity in general as human beings is creating problems. It's creating a lot of problems. I rant all the time. I try not to overdo it about the increasing number of homeless, crazy people that are now making their way into our community. And after sort of seething about this issue, I think they wouldn't be here if they weren't incentivized to be here. There's benefits to them being here. And if we didn't incentivize these people to be here, then they wouldn't be here. I know that's cruel. Maybe we need a little more cruelty. I saw this post on Reddit this morning. Wasn't planning on bringing it in, but it's from the conspiracy subreddit, which I enjoy because I enjoy conspiracy theories, as you know. And it's a screenshot of an X post over a picture of Muammar Gaddafi. That screen grabs a paragraph from a BBC publication that reads, Libya was ruled autocratically for 4 decades by Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, who oversaw a brutal regime while also providing Libyans with subsidized housing, free education, and free healthcare. This post highlighted by this person on X that writes, this BBC paragraph is absolutely great. Now, this was shared on the conspiracy subreddit with the caption, at this point, I believe any, quote, bad guy of the last century was probably a good guy. Which begs the question, is it good to give people free of charge everything that they need? Anything that they need. We just give them food, give them a warm place to sleep, and let them flop out at the park where my kids want to go swing on the swings, slide on the slides. I mean, made worse, of course, by the fact that I see them while I'm busting my ass at my job 50 hours a week so that I have food, so that I have a warm place to sleep, and my wife and my children. Are we good? Are we good humans by creating these social programs so that homeless people can remain homeless, so that they don't have to contribute to society, so that they continue to be drug addicted and flopped out in the park? I think maybe we need a little more cruelty. I think maybe cruelty is good for people. Because I think we need to draw a hard line in the cultural sand that says, if you're going to not hold, if you're not going to hold up your end of the social contract, maybe you're going to starve to death. Maybe you're going to freeze to death. What incentive do you have to get your life together when there are organizations that will supply you with everything that you need? Is it hard to understand that giving people free stuff isn't good for them? It makes you feel good. I remember when walking out of Fred Meyer, which is a Kroger, a subsidiary or whatever you would call it, and handing a homeless person $5. I don't know. I was maybe 18 years old, 19 years old. Boy, that felt good. And it was only $5. $5 from me, $1 from the next guy, $2 from the next lady after that. You get that little dopamine. Get that little rush of endorphins. I just did a really nice, selfish thing. I'm such a good person. It feels bad to be cruel. It feels bad to not enable someone to continue being a homeless drug addict. But this is the effort from the globalist cabal, isn't it? And I don't know what the end game is. But clearly this is happening everywhere. And not just the major metropolitan areas. No, they want to move the dregs of society into quiet little mountain towns. Make them somebody else's problem. Then they can point to their constituents and say, hey, look, we've cleaned it up. We've gotten these homeless people out of here. It's looking much better. There's not as many tents. See, we're doing a good job. We're doing a good job in Spokane County because we moved all of the vagrants to the next county over. So let's all pat ourselves on the back. We're forcing these small towns to bring in these losers because we've created a system that doesn't give them a choice. You want state dollars? You want tax breaks? You want infrastructure? Well, then we need to be able to move. We need to be able to move some of these homeless people into your neighborhood. Sorry if your people don't like it, but they're not really providing you any tax revenue because they spend all of their money on Amazon. They don't go to the local business and invest money in their community. Because we have an economic system that demands people find the cheapest price for all of their goods. Because saving $5 here and there means they might be able to feed their kids and put gas in their vehicles. All because we just won't demand that these people join the rest of us in contributing to society. So we'll give you $1,000 cash a month. We'll give you $500 in food stamps a month. We'll give you a free place to sleep. We'll give you clean needles for whatever you want to do with those. And we're off to a really optimistic start here. I don't know what's the answer. That's my answer. If you want free stuff, you better work for it. And there's no oversight in any of these programs. That's why we have so much fraud in Los Angeles and Minneapolis and in Washington state, no doubt. And your state too. Oh, yes. They're going to raise your taxes so that they can give that extra money away to anyone that will take it. And that's not to say that these programs shouldn't exist. It's wonderful that we have a social safety net for people that need it. The issue is the people that are running these programs are too cowardly to tell someone no. And then the mainstream media runs out and says, oh, how terrible. How terrible it is that we want to stop giving everything away for free, no strings attached, no questions asked. Because what do they care? It's my money, not theirs. It's your money, not theirs. To them, it's just a giant pile of money with no strings attached. It's got to go somewhere. But they don't, a lot of these people don't feel good about it either. You think, this guy's just he's going to sell his food stamps and use the money to buy drugs. So how do I get a little bit of that in my pocket? And that's why you get these news stories from Nick Shirley. Oh, yeah, look at all these people running fake hospices in Los Angeles. 220 something hospices were just closed down in California. I saw this morning. Dr. Oz. I'm just pulling it up quick to see. Yeah, here it is right here. 8-minute long video, don't worry. But posted by Wall Street Apes. California government has only shut down 4 hospices statewide in 4 years. Now, in the last 10 weeks, 221 hospices have been suspended or shut down in Los Angeles alone. Massive hospice fraud in California. And that has nothing to do with the homeless. California spent $24 billion on the homeless problem. And the number of homeless people only increased. And people don't ask questions because they can feel good inside. Oh, we're doing good things. We're doing good. We're social justice warriors. We're helping homeless people. We're helping immigrants. We're helping the children. But we don't have any money left for our roads or our schools or our veterans. But there's a giant media apparatus to help them cover it all up. Because destruction, chaos, depravity, and decay are the goal for us. We're hurtling towards third world dystopia. Because of this massive humanitarian infrastructure that wants to allow drug addicts to die in their own depravity. We rescued some pilots. Some pilots that crashed in the Middle East. That was a big deal this week. For some reason, I was not particularly interested in it. 48-hour rescue operation. There was an F-15, an F-15E Strike Eagle shot down by a Russian missile over southwestern Iran. Both crew ejected successfully. One pilot was recovered within minutes, but another was missing. And this post, I'll repost it. Head over to X, find me at earthvox, give me a follow. And you can see the hour by hour breakdown. It's a big deal. It's a heroic mission. Great success. I'm sure they'll make a movie out of it. And this is why I'm kind of pessimistic about it. It's great. It's great. The second guy that was missing was a colonel, high-ranking officer. Certainly doesn't deserve to just be left in Iran. But it stinks of propaganda. Holy smokes, 40 minutes have gone by already. I better get moving. The theme here is I'm already sick of the war and the fog of war and the war propaganda. We're in a very comfortable American empire position now, aren't we? We have all these economic issues to talk about. We have all the humanitarian issues to talk about. And it just becomes more and more cartoonish. The stir this morning is the post that Donald Trump made on Truth Social. We're back to 48 hours again. Make a deal, Iran, or we're going to blow you up more. Donald J. Trump writes on Truth, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. He didn't write effing. He wrote the real word. And gave the media exactly what they want. The conservative media says, yay, oh, Trump is so cool. The liberal media says, oh, can you believe it? It's a bit cartoonish. It seems like it was created specifically to get the reaction that we're seeing in the media and social media. He's so crazy. He's an insane person. How could we have possibly elected him? Says the leftists. And the conservatives go, yeah, this is what I voted for. So excited. Blowing up the bad guys. Where do you come down on that? Can we just admit that we have no idea what's going on over there? And I've said it before, I'll say it again. It doesn't matter where the information is coming from. It's all designed to make you think a specific thing that will predict your behavior moving forward, will predict your support for the war or your lack of support for the war. By the way, who really believes it's going to be on Tuesday? Now the media will go insane. Trump shared classified attack plans on social media. What are we going to do about them? How can we survive as a cohesive republic with multi-billion-dollar corporations poisoning the minds of all the American citizens? I mean, this is how we end up with Bob Ferguson in Washington, Gavin Newsom in California, and Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. Because of carefully crafted narratives that serve to support radical politicians that will turn your neighborhood into a third world hellhole. And this is why they have to control the elections. This post from Rasmussen Reports. New. Mainland China CCP factory employees and Taiwanese warehouse workers have provided written affidavits on how they and others have installed illegal corrupted components into U.S. voting machines for years. Quote, the part that matters comes from a factory 60 miles from Beijing, a CCP factory 60 miles from Beijing. The parts that matter. We have people in the factories, defectors in the factories giving us affidavits. We can prove the whole thing is completely compromised. That even of the stuff that comes out of Taiwan, in Taiwan, upstream of the factory, there's a warehouse. And some parts come into the warehouse from Taiwan, and some come in from China. Then, in that warehouse, they're switcherooed, and the Chinese parts go to the Taiwanese factory. And we have that from the people in the factory. Talking about the information. There is foreign involvement in this machinery that is absolutely inaudible. This is transcribed from a quote by Patrick Byrne. And that means it cannot be used in our elections, per Obama. And I had this link, which I think didn't save to my notes, but it's easily recoverable. It was fire at Chinese consulate. There it is. Remember this? Documents burn after U.S. orders China to close consulate. I gotta run to the restroom really quick, you guys. My apologies. I'll be right back. All right, boy, that was fast, wasn't it? I don't mess around. I just gotta make sure I get that I complete resuming appropriately so that nothing bad happens. Got to be very careful when you introduce these kind of wild variables So we have this old story from, well, actually, okay, this was uploaded to YouTube
Tonight, China.
on, where's the date? Was July, come on, July 22nd, 2020. Made the CBS Evening News. Let's watch.
Tonight, China is vowing to retaliate after the U.S. accused the country of hacking into companies doing coronavirus vaccine research and ordered its consulate in Houston to close. Now, this is a significant escalation in a growing conflict between the world's two largest economies, all made worse by the pandemic. Here's CBS's Margaret Brennan.
Plumes of smoke tipped off firefighters that something was amiss at China's Houston consulate.
When attempting to make entry, they were denied access to the facility.
These images, which have not been verified, show people burning documents, a common practice when a diplomatic post is quickly abandoned. U.S. officials claim that Houston was a hub for espionage and that China recently escalated its theft of intellectual property from U.S. institutions. Hours earlier, the State Department ordered China's ambassador to shut down the Texas outpost by Friday. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
We are setting out clear expectations for how the Chinese Communist Party is going to behave. And when they don't, we're going to take actions that protect the American people, protect our security, our national security, and also protect our economy and jobs.
An outraged Beijing threatened there may be consequences for expelling dozens of its diplomats. Tensions with Beijing have escalated
This really
since
doesn't
the
have anything to
pandemic
do with
began.
COVID.
Kung flu. It's a nasty, horrible disease that should have never been allowed to escape China.
And President Trump's long-promised trade deal has stalled.
I'm not interested right now in talking to China.
China claims it is all unfair stigmatizing for political reasons.
So, when this story was popping, I remember seeing screenshots of the courtyard at the Chinese consulate where they were burning documents. And this is what some of the headlines read. You know, documents burn after U.S. orders China to close consulate. HFD responds to reports of burning documents. Houston Fire and Police respond to reports of documents being burned. Chinese consulate in Houston appears to burn top secret. Something it's cut off here. The first thing I thought, 5 years ago now, 6 years ago, was those look like fake ballots. It looks like fake ballots that are being burned. And they were real mad, big mad, the outrage, of course. How could you disrespect the Chinese Communist Party that has such goodwill toward the human race? They have such goodwill. This is why we have to get our elections under control. It's absolutely wild. I mean, do you need more evidence that we don't have a voice in our elections? And these leaders that we've supposedly elected take all of this tax money. It's the largest amount of money that I pay every month to the United States government so that they can run my country, my homeland, into the ground. So that they can dilute the voice that I have in our elections. By cheating the election, by allowing our foreign adversaries to fabricate ballots and elect the people that they choose into office. to implement policies that you don't choose, that you don't want for yourself and your family. Higher taxes, more social programs, and insane homeless people roaming the streets where your children ride your bikes. This post from Scott Pressler that came out on the 31st. It reads, breaking, massive news. President Trump just signed an executive order to provide for election integrity. Number one, election officials will be provided with federal data to ensure that only American citizens are able to vote. Number two, orders the Postmaster General and the United States Postal Service to verify that ballots are only mailed to eligible voters and ballots are returned only by eligible voters. A huge step in the right direction. Pass the Save America Act, which, by the way, has had no movement. And of course, Democrats now are vowing legal challenges because they want to make it easier to cheat, not harder. But this move by the Trump administration is legal, despite all of the leftist arguments to the contrary. The Help Americans Vote Act and the National Voter Registration Act have all been tested in court, and everything that Donald Trump is doing is within the parameters of those two acts. The only issue is that the very next president could reverse this executive order, assuming activist judges don't throw it out to begin with. And we'll be right back where we started. You must see at this point that this has been the effort all along. To import a bunch of voters that will vote for the left, that will vote for Democrats, that will vote for the destruction of the United States as it is today, or as it is. I mean, where do we want to get back to 20 years ago, 50 years ago? When everything wasn't so politicized and insane? Is this going to help us get there? Do we have a prayer? Can we ever hope to have justice? Probably the biggest news of the week is that Pam Bondi has finally been fired. I mean, did anybody think that was an April Fool's joke? It literally happened on April Fool's Day. The headline reads, Pam Bondi already fired as Attorney General. Cabinet official teed up as a replacement. Which means, given that this article was published on April 2nd, this means that Pam Bondi was fired on April 1st. I wonder if she heard the news and then gave him a side eye, waiting for the April Fools. But no, this is legit. Trump confirmed the ouster in a Truth Social post Thursday, underscoring that he views her as, quote, a great American patriot and a loyal friend as she moves into an undisclosed role in the private sector. So why now? Well, the Daily Mail gives a little bit of insight. Their headline, Pam Bondi begged Trump not to fire her during dramatic White House showdown, as insider reveals his final straw. Attorney General Pam Bondi begged Donald Trump not to fire her in an explosive showdown at the White House after he accused her of an unforgivable offense. Trump fired Bondi on Thursday, the second cabinet casualty in less than a month after months of controversy, including the botched handling of the Epstein files. Yeah, she's been a disaster. She's been a disaster the whole time. Weren't we all optimistic? Didn't we all think this was going to be the administration of justice, the administration of retribution against all of the politicians that hated us, that controlled the levers of power in the United States for 4 years? Well, at least the 4 years that Biden was in office. The article continues, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche will serve as acting Attorney General until a permanent nominee is picked. Bondi responded by pleading for the president to give her more time in the role, but Trump remained firm that her time leading the agency was over. The Daily Mail can exclusively reveal, quote, "She was unhappy and tried to change his mind," the source said. However, the president told her she was fired and that an announcement would be made shortly. The announcement had been due to be made on Friday, but has been rushed out after rampant media speculation erupted overnight. Leakers. They rushed it out because of leakers. Trump's reasoning for the sudden dismissal comes in part because the president believes Bondi tipped off Eric Swalwell about the FBI's efforts to release investigative documents related to his relationship with an alleged Chinese spy. The FBI was preparing a cache of documents on Swalwell's relationship with Christine Fang. Quote, "She's intervening in those matters. The White House wasn't pleased she was intervening due to her personal friendship with Swalwell," the source added. It is unclear why Bondi would have intervened, but it is believed that Bondi and Swalwell have a friendly relationship. Swalwell has openly criticized her since she took the AG position after failing to prosecute multiple death threats against him and his family. On Wednesday, Bondi traveled with Trump to the Supreme Court to watch proceedings for the birthright citizenship case and attended his primetime speech about the war in Iran. But as the president's cabinet gathered to focus on Iran, rumors ricocheted through Washington about Bondi's replacement. So there's some interesting things about this, because immediately upon learning that Todd Blanche was going to take over as acting AG, I thought, well, if he's still going to be in there, we can't really expect anything big to happen, because even critics of Pam Bondi early on claimed that Todd Blanche was worse than she was. So after seeing that he's going to be the acting replacement, I just start thinking, what role did he have to play? Did he stab her in the back so that he could be the guy? So that we could continue having no justice whatsoever? No justice for January 6th. No justice for the 2020 election. No justice for COVID. But now, some good things potentially coming. Some exciting news. Some things to be optimistic about. Potentially. Do y'all know about Harmeet Dillon? She leads the Civil Rights Division at the DOJ. And she's been doing a great job from what I've heard. From the Gateway Pundit, the headline, Trump set to appoint firebrand attorney Harmeet Dillon after sudden resignation of current number 3. Report. President Donald Trump is reportedly preparing to tap civil rights chief Harmeet Dillon for a powerful promotion to Associate Attorney General, the third highest position inside the Department of Justice. But if Todd Blanche is acting AG, who's acting deputy AG? Could it fall to Harmeet Dillon? What's going to happen to Todd Blanche? Good things can come out of this. Let's be hopeful. Come on. I know it's hard. It feels like this admin's half over and nothing has happened. Only, I don't want to say only bad things have happened, but that's how it feels, right? Of course, this is the narrative pushed by the media. The biggest thing going on is the horrible war in Iran. Boots on the ground, more forever wars, more regime change. Do you think we're going to get some justice? Pam Bondi's gone, folks. We can be happy about that, right? Let's be happy today. Let's not be Let's not be pessimistic about tomorrow. Okay? Let's take the W. I know. How can you still be optimistic after all of this disappointment? I know. Because I choose to be optimistic. I choose to be hopeful. Because I have the means to be hopeful. Because I believe in the energy of positivity. And that if you choose to continue, I'm sorry, I'm considering really hard if I want to get into all this woo-woo, wacko, new age, whatever you would call it. But if you're going to be negative, you're going to manifest negativity. That's just my opinion. But I believe if you choose to be positive, you can manifest positive things. So choose optimism. Choose positivity. You don't know what can happen. It could be something great. Maybe Todd Blanche isn't the bad guy that we thought he is. Or that we think he is. That people suppose that he is. I really want to ask Dan Bongino, hey, was it Pam Bondi that made you resign from the FBI? Was it her standing in the way of justice? Are good things going to happen now? Well, we only have to wait and see. Can be positive about that, right? Did I go? Oh, I did. Ha ha. Here we go. We're doing good. There it is. That's what I was after. Everything works perfect around here. No complaints, no technical difficulties, no noticeable interruption in anything that happens. This is a big W for us, you guys. It's a big W. I know it's hard to be optimistic. It's really hard to be optimistic. But I hope you're here for optimism. Because I can talk about the bad stuff. I can be upset about it. But we still have the power. We got the Trump executive order on the elections. Maybe we'll get some good people in politics. Maybe it'll all keep going the same terrible direction. Maybe there's no right in the ship. Maybe the brakes are broken and we're heading off the cliff. If nothing else, it'll be exciting. So join me next Sunday at 11 a.m.-ish. And we'll see what great things have happened over the last week. Please follow me at earthvox on X. I'm earthvox everywhere. You can look me up anywhere. Send me a message. I would love to hear from you. The email address is therealearthvox@protonmail.com. More big stories coming. More developments. The Iraq war is due to wrap up any day now. That'll be good. We can be optimistic about that, right? We'll get the Strait of Hormuz opened up. Gas prices will drop. We will become the Lord of the shipping lanes, the United States. And we'll be rich and powerful. And it'll be like living in the 50s all over again, right? Well, we'll see. Get back here next week. I'll tell you all about it. Follow me on Rumble, please, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. I need your help. I need your help amplifying the show. Everything's going great. I'm not going anywhere. We're back. The numbers have recovered to where they were good 5 months ago, finally. Optimistic things. Optimism, people. Finally, send me a voicemail. I'd love to hear the sound of your voice. You hear the sound of mine so often. Come on, don't hold out on me. Make it fair. 701-787-1121. I'll be back.